want bigger leaves, so I need a moss pole. But before I can get that, I'm gonna air layer. Welcome to Mixing Plants and Crafts. My name is Rachel, and today we are gonna get some plants ready for a moss pole by air layering and chopping. Some of the chops will be for a plant sale that I'm doing at a local farmer's market, so I guess it's a day for plant chores. I know my plants would reward me with bigger leaves if I were to add them to a moss pole. I have done this before in the past, but I have an issue with watering my plants. I don't water enough. So moss pole will fall into that same category of not getting watered, and then the plants don't do well. But I want to do better. We're going to do it. But before the moss pole, I'm going to air layer. So you're going to see that process today. This might be information that you know already, but I want to give some information on it because there are some people on this channel that I know are not familiar with the advanced care of houseplants. I want to give some meaning to some of the words I just said so I can start the project for those who are new. So air layering is another method of propagating where the stem is still attached to the plant. Usually when we propagate, we chop the stem and put it in soil, water, perlite, moss. But this time I'm going to air layer by wrapping the stem around with some kind of substrate to get roots already attached to the plant. Would you believe if I told you I tried this method as a child when I lived in Trinidad? I was part of a horticultural club at school when I was 10. So we did some air layering back then. Then I would air layer the plants in my yard that my mom was caring for, and I don't really remember if she got mad at me, but I was wrapping plants with moss and plastic and tape. I started air layering very young. So the next thing I want to talk about is moss poles. Some of the tropical plants that we collect usually will climb in nature. These plants would climb on tree trunks to grow upward. I saw this a lot when I lived in Florida. So a moss pole will mimic that tree trunk. It would give the plant support, like a plastic cover with a moss in the center. It will give the plant some moisture to allow the aerial roots to attach into the moss. This will add support to the plant to grow upwards. Once the aerial root will start going into the moss, the leaves will start sizing up. And that is what we want with moss poles. We want bigger leaves. This intro was created 3 days after the plant chores to save time on filming and to really see how much I can get done. It's kind of a longer video today. There's a little surprise I found at the end while I was doing my plant chores. I'm just going to leave that information there, and first we'll get into air layering the plants. Okay, so the plants that we're going to be air layering is, we have a philodendron, red emerald. We have some Florida green that I have here. The leaves are going into itself. I don't like that, and I know that it does need a repot. But I'm gonna air layer it, and then I'm gonna repot it. And this one definitely needs a repot as well. This is, oh my gosh, yep. It's another philodendron. This is another Florida green, so we're gonna air layer this one too. Some of these plants that I air layer, I think I'll take them with me to my my event that I have, and the event of farmers market. But the top cut is going to be mine. And this one is a pink princess. It's wobbly because it's top heavy. The top has gotten really thick and the bottom not so much. So let me get all the things that I need to get ready for this, and let us get started. I wonder if I'll be able to do everything today. I hope so. So I think I'm gonna go ahead first and make my mix that I wanna make. I'm gonna add some fluval, moss, and perlite. All right, so I rinsed my moss, and I think I'm gonna have to do like a layer of moss and then this and perlite, and then mix, but these are yogurt containers that I've saved for things like this. All right. All right, I changed angles because having it on the side when I'm putting it together is kind of hard. So, all right, let's see which node I'm starting from. I guess this is an empty node, actually. That's an empty node right there. So I think I'm gonna just start right there. Empty node right there. Yep. I think I'm gonna tilt it. Empty node. All right, let's wrap this. Okay. It's standing up by itself. I didn't think it would. And I don't need a zip tie. We're winning. That is a win. So I think I want to get some water in there. Just in case it doesn't stand up, I'm going to put a stake on it. A small stake, I'm going to just put it there just so it can not, I mean, I think it feels secure. I think securing it like this makes me feel better. So this is done. I'll give you a close-up of what it looks like in its spot so you can see. And this is so exciting. One is done. I didn't need a zip tie even though I looked for an hour for it. So all right, next one. Now we're gonna do the pink princess. I actually need to repot this plant. Let's take it out and see what we're working with before I decide. Of course, I can't take it out. It's stuck. Another plant that's stuck for me this week. I need a bigger pot. We got some pots, and this is nice upsize for this plant. All right. Oh yeah, it's gonna be, wow. Add some more soil at the top. It's still not going to be secure, so I think I'm just gonna leave that there. How about like this? Okay, now I'm going to decide where I want to air layer it because I have to cut. Actually, don't want to get rid of that leaf. This one. I think I can cut this leaf off. Yeah. I don't want to do this. She's bleeding. Plant number 2 is finished. Okay, we're ready for the next plant, and it is the Florida green, one of the Florida green. So I think, where do I want to cut? I think right here. Yes, that means I'm gonna lose this leaf. Maybe do this, move it up and air layer it like that. You can tell that's a node right there. It's a bump. I'm just gonna go ahead and repot this here as well. Or upsize it, I should say. So it is the next day, in case you were wondering. I wanted to show you some plants that I did air layer and see what it looks like now. But I also have another plant that I did air layer a few months ago, and I'm just gonna keep it in there for a while. I'll show you what that looks like. So the pink princess, I did have to stake it up so I can hold the pod, but it looks good. As you saw, I gave it a little upsize and pot and watered this tube. So hopefully it's going to give me some roots right here, and then I can chop it right down there and add the top to a moss pole. So this is the one pink princess. There's 2 Florida green that I have that's been air layered. Now this Florida is actually called a Florida Beauty because it was a variegated one. It's a reverted variegated one. And yeah, so I'm actually gonna pot these up together in the same pot when I do decide to put it on a moss pole, just to save some space. And this is what the red emerald looks like, air layered. I staked it up. I didn't have to, but I did just in case. it's not in any kind of like heavy pot, other than like this pot. It's really big in here. So I kind of need to get some more cash pots for plants that's heavier, so it can hold some of the plant stem that is getting kind of heavy, especially that pink princess. That's a heavy plant. All right, so let me show you the plant that already had a pod, an air layering pot on it. So this is one I've already air layered. I did it last year. I haven't really moistened this pot in a while, but I don't know if you can see roots in there. There's one there. There's more roots in there, but it's no longer white, probably because I need to water it. Let's do that now. Let's give it a little spray. This pod, I have it on here because I did want to put this up on a cork plank, which is what this is. That's another video for another day. But I'm also using a cork plank to get plants to attach and support them so they can give me bigger leaves. There's cork planks all around there, and they're doing just fine too. That, again, another video for another day. But yeah, the air layer pod doing well. And you can actually see the root a little better now that I've watered it. So, all right, so let me put this away. This year, I'll be selling some propagations at my local farmer's market, or I'm in the country, so it's really local. It's not really a farmer's market, but they create it into something like a farmer's market. But I'll be doing that maybe twice a year. I'm not looking to be in the plant selling business, but it's a good way for me to control the plant growth in my collection. I don't want to have 3 or 4 of the same plants in my care unless it's a pear plant, because I love those. It's a great way to make money on the side, to buy some more plants or buy plant supplies or that. Get to know the people in your community, and a great way for them to get to know you and what you're doing. In here, if you're looking to grow your YouTube, Instagram, having like selling some things at a farmer's market is a great way to kind of network too. At least that's what I think. So some of these plants I will be chopping today will be for that sale at the farmer's market, and then there's 2 plants that I'll be chopping for a moss bowl. So let's get started to do that. Okay, so here we have my I need to water this too. I always need to water plants. So here we have my philodendron campo porstatum. I don't know how to say it, but usually it's known to be philodendron campo. So it needs major support. It is not a hanging plant, although I have tried to make it that. It is a very, very fast growing philodendron, which is why it looks like this. So usually this plant is when it's matured, it will give you like a bunny ears type. I'll see if I can find another plant and show you somewhere on here. But when the plant has support from a moss bowl, it would give you that type of leaves. So as you can see, I don't have anything near that, but I'm going to be putting this on a moss bowl through chopping it, and I'm going to be selling this too. I might just chop up the whole thing and start completely over with it. I think I might do that. It is, if you can see, it's so out of control. So I do have some already in propagations. Yes. There's some of the campo I was already trying to propagate it, but I failed to water the propagations. So it rooted a little bit. We're gonna just put them all up together. I am all set. I'm gonna just start chopping and getting it ready for propagating. I'm gonna use this vessel with the same medium. Actually, I'm gonna mix this a little bit more. I'm gonna put more perlite and fluval in here and use this for the rest of the propagations. I'm not gonna water propagate because I want strong roots. So I've made my propagation mix. I added some more perlite and fluval to here. You know, the person who sold me this plant, she sold it pretty cheaply. And I was wondering, why would someone sell it so cheaply on Etsy? Not that I didn't trust the store or anything, but I was wondering why the plant, I think I paid, I would say $7 with free shipping for this plant, or maybe $10. I don't remember. I can check later and maybe put it up what the actual number is. But I did wonder to myself, why is she selling this plant so cheap, since it's, you know, a beautiful plant? And now I know. This is a rapid growing plant. And so this is what I have left. And that is what I'm just gonna leave it in here and see what happens. These are a lot, so I might have to use 2 vessels for this. Okay, so the philodendron campo all ready. I am gonna put this under a heat mat and see how it does. I will give you an update on this. I'll do a video on how I get set up for my farmer's market. So in that video, I'll include some of these and see how they're, you'll see how they're doing. So I'm gonna put these away and get more propagations done. So another plant I wanna put on moss pole is this marble queen. I don't have too much great notes to work with since this is a small plant, but I think I might just chop this one right here since it's nicely variegated. It actually looks like a snow queen. I don't really know what the difference is with a marble queen and a snow queen. Look at this leaf. Because I personally think they're the same. Snow queen is just more white, and the marble queen is like these with a lot of green. So I don't know. All right, I'm gonna chop this part and put it in this vessel for propagating this soupy vessel. I'm actually gonna put more fluval in here. All right, I added some more fluval to it. All right, let's get, where should I chop? Here. Ugh, she's chopped. Very beautiful. I'll probably add more stratum to here. That way I don't have to stick it all the way down and hurt the other leaves. Look at this leaf. Oh my goodness. Wow, so pretty. Okay. cleaned with alcohol wipes. All right, so the next plant I want to chop up is going to be, drum roll please. All right, I want to put this Micans on a moss pole, so I'm going to chop this too. It's not, it didn't really do well for me because, again, I have issues with watering. I really need to get better with watering because I think this plant loves water. I have watered it this weekend, so, but I'm gonna get a top cut from this so I can propagate it with the Marble Queen, so I can do a moss pole for this. All right, we're gonna just take this Micans into this pot. Okay, I'm gonna again let these callus over, and then I'll put some more fluval on here and water, and then these are gonna be for the moss pole, and some of these Micans will be for the sale. I got one more plant that I'm going to chop, and I'll have to put my camera a little higher because it is a bigger plant. It's one of my favorite plants, and it's going to get chopped a little bit today. My begonia maculata is so beautiful, but there's these two stems. The internodal spacing on here is quite small. I would say like less than 3 inches, but these internodal spacing is too large, and the plant stem is really thick. This tells me it's been looking for light, and I'm sure it is, since there's all this foliage here. It's kind of, these two were competing for light and is trying to go taller towards the light. So I don't really like how that looks over there. And this is going to be for a sale because you cannot put a begonia maculata on a moss pole. There's no aerial roots on this plant, but look at this plant. How beautiful it is. The red backing, so gorgeous. And since I moved it to a self-watering pot, it's just kind of continued to grow. So let's chop. I think this one I'll do a water propagation for, since the roots on the begonia are so extra fine. I don't want to get the roots all tangled up. Cute. Let's get chopping. I don't want to chop this plant. I don't want to chop it, but I have to. This is going to be hard. All right, chop. Chop. All right, I'll fix this in a little bit. Notice the bottom leaf is really small and the top leaves are nice and large, because this stem down here was competing for light, so it got a little taller to find light, and then it started growing better leaves. So yeah, so I guess since I chopped that, I'm gonna stake this. I'll be able to stake this. Oh yeah, let's do that. Okay, yeah, there we go. It looks better. Let's see what happens to the cut areas. And beautiful plant. I love it. These leaves are so big. All right, we have this one. All right, here's one that I've been water propagating that I need to put into soil. It's another begonia, and the roots on here. So I do have to pot this up into soil. I should do this today. I can actually make this 3 plants for the sale. What do you think? A bouquet of a begonia. The next thing on the agenda is to check on some propagations that I have, and I think I'll be doing that a little later for me, not for you, but for me, because when I check on these propagation, if there's enough roots, I'm gonna pot it up into soil. So, okay, I will see you in a little bit. It's now the evening here, and my last bit of thing that I have to do is check on some propagations that I had, and that is this here, and then this that definitely needs some soil. But I also have another one that I don't know where. Oh, I see it. Well, spider mites have infested this already. I am gonna throw it out. This is a philodendron verrucosum, and I had to chop this plant up too because I did not take good care of it. Again, a watering issue. I did not water it well, and now that I'm opening it, there is spider mites on it. So now I got to do a spider mite treatment on this whole place. So great. Let's just cover this up and put this in the trash. Goodbye, plant. When you get new plants in, always quarantine. If you don't quarantine, stuff like this will happen because now I have spider mites again. Okay, so I'm just gonna spray this area down with some alcohol and then take that away out of here. Okay, so this is what is going on now. I have spider mites back. They're back, and it is on this silver sword philodendron. I was propagating this, and I can see that there is spider mites on here. There's just webbing. So what am I gonna do? I am not gonna throw this plant away. I think what I'll do is take this to the bathroom and then give it a spray with some Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew. And then I have my Alocasia Jekyll in here that I had to cut off because of spider mites. I brought it back into the room where it can be under a heat mat, and of course a new leaf started coming out right there. Okay, so we have a new leaf coming out, and I'm very upset that I have spider mites again. So what I'm gonna do with this, I'm gonna cut all the roots. I'm gonna cut it all away. I'm gonna spray the plant down and then stick it in water. away from this room. And this is Enjoy Pothos, and I don't see any spider mites on here, but who's to say there's, because this haven't really done well in a while and I was repropagating it, so I'm just going to throw this one away. And this is a Calathea network plant, the common name for it, and I don't see spider mites on it, but it definitely needs to be put into soil. So I think I'm going to wash this out too. This have turned into another something else like last week. All right, but I do want to check on these propagations here, see how they're doing. There's a varicosum in here too. Great. Okay, so let's this one been in here, so it might not have any spider mites, and it's probably too humid. Let's hope. So, oh man. All right, I'm just gonna do this here because why not? I'm gonna inspect all this while I take them out. So, okay, so this, nothing happened to this wet stick. All right, let's see what has rooted. It put a Hoya cutting in here. I forget the name of this Hoya. It has rooted, so that's good. And there's something already growing over there. So I'm gonna put these in soil tonight after I kind of wash it out. This rooted pretty quickly, man. I've not had a Hoya root as quickly for me. It's funny, like the roots on this is not even a node. I thought the roots was gonna come out of here, but yeah, we have roots. Okay, and I have one more varicosum with no spider mites. I don't know how I feel about keeping this plant anymore. It seemed to be a spider mite magnet. This is all set up. I am going to put this under, I'm going to put this someplace else. And then I'm going to take care of these. Should I chop up this leaf with you right here? I guess I can. I'm just so upset about the spider mites. I'm just gonna, there's corms in here too, but I can try to leave the corms. I'm gonna give this plant a fresh start. Here, this is what I have. All right, so I'm gonna rinse this out too with Captain Jack's and spray this. On this video, we saw the air layering and the propagations for the moss pole and for my farmer's market adventure this year. Thank you so much for watching this crazy video, especially during the last part of it. I am going to give my room a spray down and see, hopefully I don't have any more spider mites after this, but I don't know. I feel like they're always around, I think. My husband said they're mites, so they're always around. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on spider mites? Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next week.